I was not looking to buy a car this soon, but and while I'm not a car reviewer, I feel I can bring a unique perspective to this review as I purchase this car and it will be my wife's primary vehicle. So I will not just be driving it for a week and then getting the next car to review. This is going to be our vehicle going forward. This is also the premium trim level of this vehicle, not the top level, which is normally given to vehicle reviewers. So if you're interested in what comes in the premium package,
10-way power adjusted driver's seat,
upgraded 11.6-inch Starlink multimedia plus system that supports Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, dual climate control. So if we get that going, person over here can set that, person over here can set that, and sync them if you want. Leather wrapped steering wheel, all-weather package, which includes heated side mirrors, heated front seats, as well as a strip underneath the wiper blades to de-ice them. Rear USB ports that do light up when the car is on. Rear LED liftgate for more lighting when the thing is open.
There is an extra package that we got with this, and that has add-ons, which I will point out as I move through this review. Join me as I walk you through the ins and out of the 2025 Subaru Outback, perhaps the last model year of the true family wagon. I'm Wanderer 001. Let's get into it. Starting off, since this is my vehicle and I tried to find a great place to review it, couldn't do that. So here we have lovely lighting in my driveway. Looking at the front, we have Subaru's aggressive front fascia that they have been moving to. You can see right here, you've got the bulbous headlight fixtures, but it does have LED daytime running lights as well as LED lights, period. They also have steering responsive headlights, which as you turn the vehicle as you're driving, the light will follow you, illuminating your way, making it easier for you to keep track of what is on the road. And when you turn the car on, you could see the lights kind of do this weird centering motion as they get themselves ready. You also have high beam assistance, which if you leave your lights in auto mode, will automatically dim your high beams as it senses another car coming forward, which is great. The premium trim level also now includes fog lights. For my last Subaru, which is a 2015 Subaru Forester, which I'll be using as a good point of reference, premium trim did not come with fog lights, so I'm happy to see that they actually include those now. The one thing I'm not sure I'm a fan of, and might be hard to see in this particular view, I'll try zooming in a little bit here, is that a lot of the grille elements are now plastic, and that includes down here. This is a lot of plastic. You'll see it present on the sides as well as in the rear. And while that makes it easier to repair and doesn't scratch as much, my problem with that is if you have your vehicle, as long as I intend to have this vehicle and my current Subaru Forester, that will kind of fade with time. So you're going to have to make sure you have something to replenish the plastic parts as you go along. As we come in, you could see the hood line and some of that plastic that I was talking about. All this here is now plastic. Let's take a look under the hood next. As we open everything up here, the hood latch itself is a little switch right here, just above the Subaru emblem. It's very close to the front, so if you've got tiny girl hands like I do, it'll be much easier for you to access. One of the things that I like about Subaru in particular is any place that you see these yellow bits. That's where you can top off your fluids, check your fluids, change your things. They make it very easy to do some level of self-maintenance on the vehicle yourself. You can also see right there, that is your oil filter up top. Easy, just pull it up. And what you're seeing here is the 4-cylinder CVT 2.5 liter boxer engine. So with Subaru, rather than having their pistons go this way, they attack each other in a boxing fashion, which Subaru is well known for. It helps them keep the center of gravity on the vehicle lower, giving you more control. For the 2025 Outback here, you are looking at 182 horsepower at 5,800 RPM with 176 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPM. Stated MPG for this vehicle, again, not the turbo version of this vehicle, is 32 highway, 26 around town. I could say for my first time taking it on the highway, we did a long trip into Pennsylvania, about 3 hours there and 3 hours back. We averaged about 30 MPG, which all things considered is really good for a vehicle like this. So what I'll do now is I will let you hear the vehicle starting up, as well as give it a little rev so you get an idea of what that sounds like. If we take a look up here at the hood, we can see some of the sound dampening that's in place to make this a quieter ride than my older vehicle. We can also see right here along the side, they've gone away from the hydraulic open to a stick that kind of lives in your hood and then comes down, as opposed to one that lives across the front. I know that's minor things, but again, I haven't had a new vehicle in like 10 years, so this is all new to me. And if you're wondering where your hood latch goes, there's a little notch in the back there where the plastic piece sits in. And turning to the side, you could see kind of what I'm talking about, the bulbous headlights. And the rear lights are like this too, so they kind of move to this design. Don't necessarily know if I'm a fan of it, but it certainly is distinct. Bulbous light. The hood itself has some rubber to kind of help fix some of the larger gaps that you have. Does that up front as well, as you can see right there. As we come across to the side of the vehicle, you'll notice the premium model. We had a extra package that gave us blind spot monitoring, but it also put the LED indicator on the side here to let people know that you're turning. It has chrome accenting around all of the windows, but notice around the front and rear fenders, the large black cladding around the wheel wells, as I was mentioning before. This is going to be something that you have to keep up with. But also notice along here at the bottom, this is one of the big things that I noticed different from my Forester, and that was this black trim does not go all the way down. And on the Forester, I really liked it because you didn't have to really worry about like getting mud on your pants. But if I come over here, you can see from this angle that the black trim does not cover everything. And while we're here, we might as well show you how wide the doors open. So that's as far as you can get for the front door. For the rear passenger door, here you go. It's not as wide as you get with the Forester, but you can see it's pretty wide, all things considered. In my case, I can get cat carrier in there, but the rear not opening the 90 degrees that my Forester does. However, the one thing that the Outback has, that the Forester has, that the Crosstrek has, is the 8.7 inches of ground clearance, which I really appreciate having in a vehicle like this. My wife does especially too, because she says she doesn't feel like she's rolling into the car. And since this is the Outback, it still has that sedan-ish feel, even though it is more of a wagon. The Outback also has integrated roof rails, which is a really great system because you don't need extra tools or to purchase something extra. You can just come up top, grab it, bring it over, and then you have your roofing system all in place. The good thing about the height of the car with the included crossbars is that you don't need to step on the tire to actually get to them. There's a little step inside. You could just do that and manipulate your crossbars that way and use them. The wheels themselves are 17-inch alloy wheels. They're standard Yokohamas. If you're interested, let me know. I'll take a picture, put it in the comments or something, but that's what we're looking at there. Coming around to the back of the vehicle, get an idea of what the rear looks like, again with those bulbous kind of rear lighting. Up top, we do have the fin that did seem to come standard on all the premium models. This does have rear cross traffic alerts, but that's part of a extra package that we got as part of the blind spot monitoring. The maximum towing capacity for the Outback is 2,700 pounds, and you might see kind of mud flaps. That's also part of an extra package. If we bring this in a little bit, you're going to see over there that is your tow hook area. So if you need a rescue hook, that's where you can get it. You also have, as part of the pretty much boiled into the blind spot monitoring package, a bunch of extra packages for the rear liftgate itself. So there's quite a few ways that you can open up the rear liftgate. First being, there's a button right under the Subaru logo to the left of the stars. You simply press on that and it will open up the liftgate. The other way to do it, if you have the package that we have, you can wave to unlock. There you go, opens right up. So pulled this back a little more so you can actually see how high it goes. I am 5'7", this is the maximum height. There is actually a hook right there. There's a handle right here that you could pull this down, but there are also two buttons, one to lower and lock it, and the other is to set your height. On the inside, you actually have two LED lights to help you see. It gives you a little bit of extra lighting back here. If we bring things a little closer, you can see your camera right here. This can, if you set your rear wiper to wash itself, can wash dirt off of that. It's something, it's there. It's nice that they thought of it. And the last way that we here might be a little tricky to see. I'll pop something up on camera. It is a way that you can have PIN code to access your car if you don't have your key fob. Will only get you into the car, won't get you to start the car, but it's nice that it's there. But it was also part of an extra package that was added on. Again, it's part of the blind spot monitoring package. So if you got that, you're good to go with that. Let's take a look inside now. Now, as we take a look in the rear here, there are some things that came with the car that I'm not particularly a fan of, but my wife enjoys. It is this cargo net right here, as well as a cargo cover. You just kind of pull that. Cargo cover can be put into the storage compartment down here, which I'll show you in a moment. The overall cargo volume when you do not have the seats down is 32.6 cubic feet. If you pull down the 60-40 split rear seats there, you get a total of 75.6 cubic feet. And just to give you an idea of what that looks like, here it is with some Tupperware. You can easily get two 20-gallon Tupperwares in here, even with the rear cargo cover in its pulled back state. And if we drop this, you can now see that I have the two 20-gallon Tupperwares up there and an extra 18-gallon right there. So you can get a total of 4 in here pretty easily. You're not going to be able to stack things too high. If I raise this up a little bit, you get an idea of the actual height that you have in there. So plan accordingly. It's a wagon, so it's going to be longer, not taller like a Forester. As we take a look inside the Outback's rear trunk here, as I mentioned, cargo net. You've got cargo net hooks on either side. You also have on either side grocery bag hook, which is helpful. And then over here, this is actually a latch to take the seat down in front of you, which is great because you don't have to reach up there to do it, which is something that I had to do in the Forester. You've got these extra areas that if you had a higher premium package, they would do something. You've got a wheel well on this side. And if I take this back this way, we can see this model had the cargo mat protector. I like these and the seat back protectors there too, as well as the all-weather maps. However, what I will say is Subaru probably has slowly been making the quality of these less and less over the years, because this is not the same as what I have. It is really thin in comparison. Yes, this lip here makes it look like it's pretty thick, but if I bring that edge into focus, you can kind of see it's not great, but it does help keep stuff out of the back of your vehicle. If I come here, there is a little latch you simply press and lift, and then this is partially why I hate the cargo net, because it gets in the way, but you have some under cargo storage here. You can also see there's a little hook here, so you can put that right there to keep it from falling down on you, which is kind of nice. There is a jack right here, as well as some of the stuff that I have covered up. You've got your rescue hook, a screwdriver, other parts that you need. I also disassembled the Subaru manual and put it back here because the glove box is really small. So this made it really easy to keep everything in place. You also, if you pull up these sides here, this right here is where you can lay your rear cargo visibility block. I can't remember what it's called, but it can go in here so you don't have to store it in your garage or someplace else. Or if you're like my wife and actually enjoy it, you can keep it in place. There also is a donut spare under here, but there's a lot of stuff on top of this, so I can't grab it right now. The side pieces here can come out as part of putting away that visibility blocker. I'm gonna pull this down, hook that back into place, and get this flush again. If we come down here, this is also part of a package, this rubber bumper piece, which I like because it helps you keep scratches off of the bumper. And then you can kind of see just how little elevation difference there is between the bumper and the back of your cargo area. It makes it much easier to get things in there. And if I swing over this way, you should hopefully be able to see right there. There's another pocket area and then another switch for your seat backs. And bringing our side into view a little more, we're gonna zoom that in because right there, that is a DC power port that you can simply flip open and have connection right there. Now I'm going to bring this back and show you just how easy it is to drop the 60-40 seats. Simply drops one on each side, come here, lift, it drops. Same thing over here, grab, and it drops, and then you could see the full advantage of all of your cargo space. And here we could see the other side of the vehicle. Your gas cap is right here, and this is actually one of the things that I don't particularly care for with the new redesign of the Subarus, Outbacks in particular. I don't know. If we come over to the gas cap right here, this is now a push button to open. There is a little locking mechanism that comes across when the vehicle is locked. Like that, you can see a little plastic bit. The plastic bit also has a notch in it so that you can close this and it not damage things if the car is locked itself. But that means if you're in a place or state like Jersey, where somebody else pumps your gas for you, you have to unlock your vehicle in order for them to be able to push the button to get access to this area. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm meh on unlocking my door when I don't have to. But the good thing is, like I said, you can lock it and that bar goes back into place and you can simply close it. And then when you lock it next, it won't open. As the weather is quickly getting away from me, I figured now is a good time to change to the handheld mode and bring us into the vehicle. We'll start with the rear passenger area. So we'll open things up. Here we could see nice cushioning on the armrest and door handle. Here it's pretty straightforward, just an up and down for the window. You do have some carbon fiber looking accents, as well as your lock mechanism with a nice bright orange bit there. You do have for your speakers and then water bottle holder. If we bring ourselves into the rear, I have two separate seating positions, but I wanted to show you right here. This is actually a recline function, which is really nice. So you can lean the seat back. I'll kind of show you that in a moment. And then under here, we have our child safety area. So if you've got a car seat, you can simply kind of pull this out. It's Velcroed in, and then you could see your two bars right there. I'm just going to tuck that back in like so. And then you've got another safety hook area right there. But that is for your center person for their seatbelt. If we get into the vehicle, it's going to be tricky, but here we can see. This is the seat position for me when I'm driving with my wife. There is a little bit of a contour to the back here and a map stay area, which is nice. And if we're interested in leg room, a little measuring tape between the seat back and my knee is about 3 inches, but I tend to keep my seat back quite far compared to the driving position of my wife over there. Here we can see in the center bit, we have vents for the back as well as USB-C and USB-A charge ports. They are light up, and that again is part of another package. But if we bring ourselves to the center here, this bit here actually does pull down, and you've got a nice center cup rest area. And that is what these are for, to give you an idea of what you can get in here. So here's a standard water bottle, and then kind of what I generally drink for soda replacement. And then here is a thermos, which is a little too big for that. So just keep in mind, you're probably not going to get your Stanley in there if those are still popular. Coming across back to the door, if I pull it in a little bit, we can see standard water bottle, no problem. Busy water bottle, no problem. Thermos, squeaks in there just a little bit, but you're not getting a Stanley in there. And then right here, if we come back, as I said before, this will allow you to lean the seat back. So there you can see I'm kind of leaning the seat back. It's not a great level of change, but it's enough that you passengers in the rear might appreciate the extra respite on a long road trip. If you're wondering where the center belt is, it's right there. It tucks away. It simply pulls down through this plastic bit here and then latches where I showed you before, and that will give you a belt for your center person. If you don't need it, just keep it tucked away. The back here, I will say, you're probably going to get 2 full-sized adults. You could fit back here pretty easily. You're not going to get 3 because that center is going to have their head really close to the roof line there. Here you can see I've got enough space. I'm 5'7". I'm sitting comfortably. I don't have to worry. 2 teenagers easily. Smaller children, yes. Whoever gets the hump, probably not going to be the most comfortable position, but it's nice. You do have blank candles in the back here, and you could kind of see the cutout in the roof line up there as it transitions back here. If you had the moonroof, you would have less space up front there. Just keep that in mind. Now, as I shift my position over, this is my wife's driving position, and you could see I've got a good 7 inches of knee room right here. So this is very nice. And right down there, there is a little cutout under each side, so you can stretch your feet out a little bit. So you could get fairly reclined. And if you are curious, that is kind of the difference between the driving positions. I have longer legs, and I really put that front seat all the way back. But now that we've seen what the rear looks like, let's take a look at the front. As we come across to the driver's side, we can see the door. Nice sound deadening. If we come down there, there is a puddle light. It splashes light on the floor, which I really like. There is an extra add-on. If you see it, it's called door projection light, and it adds about $300 to the price of your vehicle. All it will do is show you the Subaru logo on the floor, and you lose the puddle light. Don't recommend. Talk to your person, tell them you don't want it, tell them to replace it. But if we come up to the door panel itself, again, we have nice soft touch areas, lots of plush here for your armrest, and then we have our window up and down, turn off. We have rear windows up and down, auto for both the front driver and passenger. We have our lock and unlock and our controls for our windows, as well as more of that fake carbon fiber here, and then easy access to our lock mechanism. This is kind of chrome accented, but also will open that, which I greatly appreciate. If we come down this way, we could see there is some rubberized areas around the ingress into the car, so help keep the dirt out of there. Here you can see on the premium models, you do get a power adjusted driver's seat. Coming over to the driver's seat right here, you could see nice plush, thick bolstering, good headrest, two-tone accent colors, which is kind of nice. My Subaru Forester's a little drab in this area. The side bolstering is also much improved from older vehicles, hugs you a little bit more. I do like the angle and the reach of the actual seat itself. And if we come down here, I don't see a lot of people show this area. There is your acceleration, brake, and then place to put your foot. This is the all-weather mat that comes with it. Again, kind of thin. Don't appreciate the fact that it doesn't go right up under the acceleration pedal. I get partially why it doesn't do that, but I wish it did. It does have little hooks in the back there that you want to make sure that you hook this on to, because I noticed my wife didn't, and it was kind of shoved up in that direction. Coming along the side here, we have our hood release. Here is our fuse box right there. Get an idea what that is. Here we have the lift gate to open or close it. To open it, you have to press and hold. Here we have our light. This is going to be for our center console. If we don't have our lights themselves set to auto, I'll explain that a little later. And then here we have the wave to open rear. This right now is in the off position. Pressing it brings the button forward, and there's a little white strip up there that lets you know that it's on. I don't like that. It needs to be better, because you want to make sure that you turn that off when you go to a car wash. But let's bring this back and up a little bit to show you your trip meter, which is right behind your stick here instead of on the dash, which I don't understand. But it took me a while to find that because the positioning of my wife's wheel kind of hid that. So just know that's where it is. You've got some soft touch materials here and here, some stitching, looks nice up here. Nice shroud, less touchy material, but still soft. And since it's starting to rain, as you can see, I'm just gonna pop in here to do the rest of our talking. As we come back, some of this we're not going to be able to do without turning the car on, so you do that by pressing your foot on the brake and pushing the ignition there. All right, come back, and we're going to talk about some stuff. Over here, we have our light auto on or off. I like it in the auto position, just makes things easier. You also have your stick for your fog lights on or off. You've got your high beams. If you push it forward, it turns the high beams on. There is a light sensor right there that makes it so that your light sensor works. If we come over to the other side here, this is for your wipers, which is really tricky to see, but you've got 3 positions for the intermittent wipers. You've got your rear right here, and then you kind of saw you have plus and minus paddle shifters. So if you want to feel like you're shifting gears, you can do that. We have our on steering control over here. This is going to be mostly for your stereo and information up there. Source is going to change radio versus aux versus Bluetooth. You've got your information that'll bring something up on the dash. You've got your phone, pick up, hang up, mute, and then audio commands. And then down here, we have our volume controls for the radio themselves. I kind of wish it was this button here because I'm used to having that for my audio controls. And then coming over this way, we have our cruise control. So you can turn your cruise control on or off. You could set your distance further or closer, and then set, reset. And when I bring this up to the dash to show you, there it is, it's on. And if I'm pressing the lower button, it's decreasing. And then if I press it, it is increasing it. And then we've got ready to go right there. Now, if I come over again down to here, I want to show you the cycles that this goes through, because when we look at our dash, I do appreciate the fact that they are physical monitors. So physical gauge for the heat, physical gauge for the RPM, physical gauge for how fast you're going, and then physical for your fuel. I really like that. Only problem is that one's tilted kind of sideways. Don't really like that. However, our center area here is broken up into 3 different areas. We've got our live fuel economy right there. This one changes based on what we're doing. This one is normally going to show you how fast you're going. And then down here is going to show you if you're in park, and then your trip A, and then overall mileage. This will show up with things like lane departure warnings and things of that nature. You also get them up there on your dash. We're gonna cycle through what we have here. Right now, what we're looking at is how long the car has been on and then miles that it's gone. If I cycle, this is going to be MPG and then how long you have until empty. This is going to be trip A and then miles still empty. Time and temperature outside. I have noticed that there's about a 3 to 5 degree difference
from what it says versus what it actually is. This will show you the name of the song, whatever it happens to be that you're playing through your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. This is PSI, which isn't going to show it right now, but when you're driving, you can see that. And then this is the bane of some people's existence, which is the auto start stop. It is able to be turned off, but you can see right there, it's letting you know that I cannot engage it right now because it's on. But this shows you how long you've auto stop start for, and then an estimated gallons of gas that you've saved. This is based on your trip. So this is trip A. If I change it to trip B, which is my current all-time running, it has been off for 15 minutes and saved 0.98 gallons. This is my wife's car. You can see she's driven about almost 700 miles. So you get an idea of what the auto start stop is like for that. If we come over to our center console now, I'll pull back a little bit. There is a little lip covering your 11-inch infotainment center. This is hit or miss for me. I have gotten used to having it. I don't like having as many touchscreen buttons as it has, but the angle that it's at, it kind of can get washed out from the sun, especially if you're keeping it in auto and you're not using the adjuster on the side. This screen is also broken down into a couple different areas. We have up top here, which will show our outdoor temperature, time, and then has a rotating list of things. If I bring it over to the left, here it's showing our water temperature, oil temperature, and then average speed. And then this one is showing Bluetooth. If you had Bluetooth, it would show the device information there. I do not, so we're just gonna bring that over to the last one over here, which is X mode on or off. You generally leave it on the weather outside there. Coming to the side, we have our hazards, we have indicator for our airbag, we have our volume, which will allow us to physically change our volume or mute. There is no on or off for this screen. It is going to be on. It's not quite like a radio of the past. You have your tuning knob over here. We have lots of buttons in the center console area. Radio, media, phone, apps, settings. Settings brings up a lot of things for the car. This is pretty much how you're going to change everything. And then there's information that you could scroll through at the top there. I'm just going to hit the home button to bring me back to this area. If there's anything in here that you want me to actually go through, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to show you. You can swipe. There are many other screens. You can add a shortcut, pick what you want and add it. You can also press and hold and move the order of some of these options. So you can customize this a little bit. Coming down, we have our vehicle information right here. I'm gonna show you kind of a shortcuts of that information rather than having to go through settings. This one's nice. This is the car information. I like this one because it shows you how things are going with the tires, as well as your pitch and everything, as well as if you've set up a maintenance schedule, it'll show up there. The one thing I don't like about this area is that if you have Android Auto engaged, this will not display because your Android Auto will be showing. We also have our turn on and off that auto start stop, and then advanced vehicle something. This will pretty much let you, if you're sitting in traffic, engage this and then take your foot off the brake and the brake will hold for you. Coming down further to our climate control, there are physical buttons for changing your temperature. So there you can see, changing things up, toggle that, change things here. If I press this, it's going to bring up the climate control so you can use a slider or tap, tap, slide up and down. You've got auto, interior AC, max AC, all from here. You also have quick toggles for where you want stuff to be blowing. If I hit sync, it's going to sync the two up, as you can see kind of there. So that's all there. I appreciate the fact that they have physical buttons on the side for important things like changing the temperature as well as front and rear defrost, but changing the speed of the actual blower is digital. Not a fan of that. As well as your heated seats are controlled through here. If you press and hold, it'll turn them on and off instead of having to go tap, tap, tap. That's everything there. Here, I'm going to show you an example of the backup camera. Hit it right there. Shows. One thing I will say is if we look closely, it's not as crisp as I would think. Honestly, I think it's the same camera that I have in my Forester, except the Forester has an itty bitty screen and this has a lot more screen real estate. So it does look a little blurry, but you can see you have your predictive lines. There we go. That's straight. If we do that, you can see there's the orange showing up and then you have your distance good, almost. Don't do it. As we work our way down this way, we will turn the car off so we don't waste gas. And you will notice that the screen will stay on for a bit, you still have access to all of your controls until you open the door. You can see right there, it shows me the park brake is on, and it is an electronic parking brake right there. Not a fan of that, but it does show you red, letting you know that it is engaged. Here we could see our shifter, as well as this part here. You can see you've got a 3.5 jack, a USB-C, and then a USB-A. And then down there, that's actually a cubby for storage. But if you're going to be using the chargers here, that space becomes very unusable very quickly. As we move our way to the center console, you can see you've got your cup holders right here. And then there's my classic mug, which I do like. You're probably not getting a Stanley in there, but that does fit. As well as here is the thin water bottle and your standard. Now notice those, you're going to have a little more play. You've got your center armrest. It is nicely padded and plushed. It is a 2-stage opening. So you've got one here, will open this top portion here. You're not getting a lot in there. Honestly, maybe some change. Closing it will open the second level, which this is similar to my Forester. It's a design feature. That's where your cigarette lighter is going to be. They do have channels that will help you feed wires out. I don't know how I feel about that, especially having to snake it around over here to get a GPS in. Now, coming back to our center, we come up and we could see on this, hello right there, this is a standard rearview mirror. This is not auto dimming. This does not have any extras. We do have our SOS and information button from Starlink. You can see right there, there's your microphone and your speakers for this. As well as here we have lights, push them in. They're nice LEDs. The car itself needs a Starlink subscription in order to actually remote start the car. Not a fan of that. It is supposed to have a 3 and 5 year subscription that you can do. When I did it, it didn't have a 5-year subscription. It had a 3-year. There's a lot of extra things that you can do other than just remote start your car. But the primary feature is remote starting your car. Not a fan of that. It's behind a paywall. You can put an aftermarket in there, but that's going to be something different. You've got your sunglass holder right there. And then you've got your eyesight to either side. And if we bring this back, this is our sun visor. Kind of like it. You can see LEDs on either side, which will turn on. Hello. When we engage the mirror, I like the fact that there's no extra strap because those wear out over time, especially for as long as I have my cars. And then there you'll notice it says slide. So what happens is if we move this over to the side, pull that back, well, it will slide so that you can move it to meet the sun where it is and make your drive a little more comfortable. Right there, we also have the interior dome light on or off, which is right there. And we do have a little map clip on this side. But again, I like this better because this does not wear out over time. Moving things around, you could see the general visibility. With the headrest there, there's a little bit cut off, but it's not terrible, honestly. And then little sweep of the back there, you could see the cutout right there for the rear, which is nice. Extra visibility. We also have that if we come up to our front. This little cutout here makes it much nicer when turning. This vehicle does have blind spot monitoring, which is their older version, which is much larger. My wife appreciates that a lot more. My wife really likes that portion, which, you know, is good. If we take a look at our passenger side, there is a little pocket right here along the center to stuff stuff. Not great. We also have a little shelf right here that we can place, in my case, my phone for longer trips. The glove box itself is an okay size. If you try and put the manual in there, it's going to be not good at all. And then you have the same size cup holder over there on the side. And then plush bits all around and accenting. As a point of thought, I will say, this is a much quieter vehicle than my older 2015 Forester. There's a lot of sound dampening material, and just sitting here now with it raining outside and wind blowing, I can't really hear it. I did test on the highway to see how things would sound, which sound like this. And as you heard, that is not terrible in any way, shape, or form. So Subaru has done a lot to step up their game. While the circumstances by which I had to get a new car were not the best, I will admit, as would my wife, that this is a much better vehicle than she had before. So if you're looking for an all-wheel drive wagon-style vehicle, of which this might be the last model year that you can get before the refresh, I can say that it has lived up to the hype and has met my expectations greatly, even though fighting The weather to review this has not been great, but just goes to show you what an owner review is like as opposed to a standard car reviewer. However, if you appreciate the time and effort that goes into making comprehensive videos like this, make sure to hit to help other people find the video as well. If you like what I'm doing here and want to be notified of my next review, hit that subscribe button. Want to see the only other 2 car reviews that I've ever done? On screen now, you'll see links to those videos so that you could check them out and make a comparison for yourself.